Welcome everyone to this lesson. It's called Discipline Equals Freedom, How to Track. So what we'll cover today is how to find the discipline and be the discipline. Discipline equals freedom. Food discipline equals food freedom. This is very important. What we recommend first, decisions based on data and how to use the tracking app. So please don't skip over anything in this lesson. Okay, it's really important. So our goal, right, is to get you to your health goal. Okay, so whether that is a food intolerance, whether it's symptoms related to another health issue, autoimmune issue, or maybe it's just a weight goal you've had for a long time. We want to get you to your goal, resolve the issues you've been struggling with, but do it in a way where you can eat as freely as possible, right? So having freedom with food, not feeling restricted and constrained and limited, being able to eat things you enjoy and the way you want to and live the life that you want to, that you'll enjoy, but not sabotage your progress, okay? Now to do that, to figure out what that eating pattern looks like for you, requires some discipline. And that's what we're focusing on here. So to be successful with this program, you need to find discipline. Motivation, it's unreliable, just like willpower. You know, something as little as being hungry can sap your motivation. You can't rely on that. It's like, oh, I didn't have, enough caffeine. I'm not motivated anymore to do that. That's the wrong answer. We're not going to get anywhere relying on motivation or willpower. They're finite. They don't last. If you rely on them, you will fall short. You cannot count on it, okay? They'll get you started 100% and you're motivated to join this program. And it's great you took action. But it's discipline that actually will get you to your goal. You know, they often say it's the bridge between motivation and the result. The bridge is discipline. You can count on discipline so long as you understand what it is and how to implement it, right? So when I say be the discipline, it means when you are clear on what you have to do, make yourself do it. Make yourself do it. When your alarm goes off, don't hit snooze. Like you're supposed to get up at that time. Just sit up and get up. That's what discipline is. And the more you implement it, the easier it becomes, because it's just what you do. It just becomes who you are. And I use the alarm as an example because we're all guilty of it and we all use alarms. But how you do one thing in life is how you do everything. So that's how you need to be thinking. Where can I implement this discipline in my life? And that's how you be the discipline. So make yourself do it. There is no shortcut. You need to do the work. You have to make it happen. It won't happen on its own. So you got to dig in, find the discipline, be the discipline, and you'll accomplish your goals. Period. So discipline equals freedom, okay? This is the exciting part about discipline. I know all that sounds like, oh no, it's going to be hard. Like, this is the best part. Discipline equals freedom. So we're going to tell you what to do, right? In this program, the consultants, you need to apply the discipline to execute on those instructions that we tell you. Okay, and of course our instructions are going to be based on how you respond, and it is very individual. When you have the discipline to execute on those instructions, that's actually how you achieve freedom and the results you want. And they may seem like they sit on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? Discipline and freedom seem so opposite, but they're actually very connected. Freedom is what everyone wants, right? To be able to act and live with freedom. But the only way to get to a place of freedom is through discipline. Think about it. If you want financial freedom, you have to have financial discipline. If you want more free time, you have to follow a disciplined time management system. It's the same with weight loss and longevity, living longer and healthier, with food intolerance and digestive disorders. Discipline equals freedom applies to every single aspect of our lives. If you want more freedom, get more discipline. If there's an element of your life where you feel you don't have freedom, the answer is to get more discipline. So food discipline equals food freedom. So trying to circle this concept of discipline back to food and diet, right? The reality is, if your issue is related to food intake in any capacity, the fact that we all eat multiple times per day, every single day of our lives as human beings, means you need to have a solid understanding of what is going into your body and the effects it has on you. Diet is so important. We're doing it every day of our lives. Many times we're eating. So it's something you need to understand. When you have discipline in this area, you get freedom in so much of your life back because it takes up so much time in our day. So, perhaps you need to better understand the FODMAP compounds and the influence or the effect they have on you. Maybe it's the macronutrients, right? The protein or the fat or carbs or the fiber, the calories, or the pattern of when your food intake changes, or the symptoms or outcomes associated with these patterns, or something else that we need to understand. Okay, if not learning these things because you don't want to apply the discipline required is like not learning to swim because you don't want to go in the water. It doesn't make sense. The way to deal with the water is to be comfortable in it. So you need to be comfortable learning about this whole area of food and diet and how it affects you. And you need to be ready to implement what we teach you. And this circles back to the discipline. When you get discipline in this area, you're going to get freedom. That's just how it works. And when I talk about food discipline, it doesn't mean like starve yourself. 100%. The opposite. I mean, be disciplined in following our process. If you follow the process, I want food discipline to look like you just have a full understanding of what you can and cannot have. You have balance between eating, what's great nutritionally, and a balance of eating things you enjoy and have a good social aspect in your life and make you happy, and like that. It's that balance. That's what food discipline means. Okay, and it also means to come into this. Discipline means come into this with a beginner's mindset, and be ready to learn, even if you think you know everything already. And be ready to apply what we recommend for you. That's what I mean by food discipline. And that's how you'll get your food freedom back. So what do we recommend first? Tracking what goes in and what comes out is the most important thing you can do in the beginning. It's the reason I put this lesson before anything else, like meal plans or recipes or anything like that. The reality is for you to receive individualized help, which is what is necessary for you, we need to see how you used to eat, as well as how you eat now with our instructions. We can then advise you at regular intervals what to do next based on the outcomes, based on what happens. The best thing, I always joke, like the best thing is like if I can come to your house and just stare at you. And what do you eat? Stare at you eating every meal. How do you eat? What times do you eat? And then it doesn't stop there, right? It gets creepier. All right, toilet habits. What happens in the bathroom, the restroom? For most of us, we're talking about gut issues and gut health. Well, we need to look at that as well. Now, obviously, that's creepy and weird. I'm not going to do that. And it's also, not possible. But it kind of is if you track things down and share it with us. Then I have all that information I need to give you individualized advice, because that's actually what it comes down to. Tracking allows decisions based on data, okay? And it's the only way we can connect the dots to pinpoint your problems. Tracking allows decisions based on data. That means they're objective. Okay, it's just fact. If we're not tracking, then it's subjective, which means it's kind of like recall, and it's also how you interpret it. And humans, we forget things, and if we don't have, particularly with diet related issues, we need to have actual data on and we need to see exactly, well, what does the diet look like? Then we can make some confident, absolute decisions and recommendations that will help. So when I talk about connecting the dots and pinpointing the problems, think of it like a puzzle, your health goal. Without the pieces of the puzzle in front of us, we cannot see where everything fits. We cannot navigate our way piece by piece to solve the puzzle once and for all. Tracking reveals those pieces of the puzzle. So if you're, when you're trying to make a puzzle, you got to go through the box and find all the edges first and the corners. You want the four corners. You want the flat edges, and you start to put those together. Like if you look at this picture, of course, they've done all the border, right? And then you can work your way inwards, but you still want to group all the pieces of the puzzle in their different colors and start putting them in place. People are trying to resolve their issue or get to their health goal blindfolded. You just pick out a piece of the puzzle from the box and hope it fits. And that's why they stay stuck. So tracking allows us to connect the dots, or to put the pieces of the puzzle in place as efficiently as possible. So this solving the puzzle analogy applies to food intolerance, weight management, autoimmune issues related to diet, and I'm going to talk more about this in coming modules, but it really applies to every aspect. Now, to have all the puzzle pieces in front of us, it means to track food and fluids, as well as symptoms, right, and issues. So not just the intake, but the output as well. Whether it's digestive symptoms, whether it's if it's really low energy, fatigue is one of the main symptoms you're having. Well, we can quantify that, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, and track that down. That's a piece of the puzzle we need, because the only way we can tie that to what you're eating or what you're doing is if we have the food in front of us and the energy or those symptoms there as well. Then we can start to match things up. And yes, all of this does mean you have to make some effort to learn this process. There is no shortcut. There is no supplement. There is no quick fix. If there was, I would be telling you to do that. I promise. There is no food allergy test or food intolerance test that just circumvents this whole process. Part of the process is learning the discipline, right? The whole mindset shift, dealing with anxiety or stress. These are all different pieces of the puzzle. You can't just sweep them under the rug. Your puzzle won't be finished. So this is the process. This is, whether you're doing it now or you like, if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it later. So it's great that you're here because we want to just do it properly once and for all. That's why I'm passionate about it. I'm super excited that you're here and you're going to do this. Okay, so now you understand why we look at data and do tracking. We'll go over what app we use for data tracking in the next lesson, okay? And we'll just quickly recap this lesson. So we looked at how you find the discipline and almost like be the discipline, because discipline equals the freedom that you're looking for. And food discipline equals food freedom. And we had a look at what we recommend first, and then how and why we need to make decisions based on data. I'll leave you with this quote. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Discipline is choosing between what you want now, that instant gratification, and what you want most of all. So have a think about, what do you want most? And I'll see you in the next lesson.